This was inevitable. I had to roast myself. I've made videos about why everyone hates the Air Force and why Marines hate the Navy. So my next video is why everybody hates the Navy. What is up, guys? You're tuning in to Nikki MGTV for another military video for all your military video needs. As always, you can hit me up on Instagram, Snapchat, or down in the comments below. But as always, let's go right into the topic, and that is why everybody hates the Navy. So everything of this contention between branches, everyone says in every comment section, I know it's brother, sisterly, sibling fight. I understand that it's not taken seriously. I'm just trying to show the humor and the stereotypes of what people think of these branches and what some of the experiences really are, and kind of that dynamic between these branches. Yes, we do all fall under defending the Constitution. Yes, I understand that. So let's get past those comments. Let's move on, because this is all in good fun, so stay tuned. So the first one I want to say is people think we just float around. Like we're just in these big great boats, we just float around, we're not there for any reason.
I'm on a boat, I'm on a boat, everybody look at me cause I'm sailing on a boat.
We do a lot more than just float around. Like, people don't understand the presence of the US Navy is a big deterrent in regards to like sea power, projection of force, things like that. And how we posture, a lot of things are from sea. It's not gonna be just land-based. How do you think troops get over there? You think we just fly planes over and that's it and drop people off? Like, there's other ways to get people onto land and do things like that. So that's why you're the Marines and all these other things. So I want people to understand presence is key. So yes, you may not see value in the US Navy right now. Trust me, it does have value in those aspects. Another thing is it keeps the monitoring of trade routes, which is why there's a big dispute in South China Sea and everything going on. So yes, a lot of people don't understand a lot of your goods come from being on a boat, okay? If you've never been on a ship and you haven't seen the radars of all the ships that are around. Next one is on a lighthearted note. A lot of people think we're gay. I don't know if it's because but there's not, like, yes, there's gay people in the military. There's gay people in the Marines, gay people in the Army, gay people in the Air Force, gay people in the Navy, gay people in reserves, enlisted, officer. Like, I'll tell you this, the biggest, craziest thing I could think of was we had our CMC that held that she was lesbian until her final retirement day, which is crazy to think of. Now I think in 2010, back when I was in San Diego. So, I mean, there's been people always in the military that are gay, and mind you, that was before Don't Ask, Don't Tell and all that kind of stuff, but there's always been gay people in the military, and if you have an issue with a gay person being in the military, then you probably shouldn't join, because guess what? You're going to deal with gay people, so it really doesn't matter. Other reason why they hate us is because we have swim call and Seal Beach picnics. So if you don't know what that is, swim call is when you get to be able to go float in the ocean and it looks like you're having a really good time, or you have a Steel Beach picnic, which is where on the flight deck or wherever you're at, they have a little cookout barbecue. You get to have a little fun maybe for a day, and you get to decompress a little bit, play some basketball, do some cornhole or something like that. Yes, I understand, obviously you don't get to do that a lot of times if you are in a battle combat zone. Obviously, if we were doing combat missions as far as a naval war fighting force, we wouldn't be having those things. But when you can have a day off to go do that, maybe your CO will authorize it, so it may look like we have a lot more fun than we probably do. Next, they're jealous because we get hot food. I've been with the Marines, okay? I understand. We have had hot food most days, but when you have to eat MREs day in, day out, it is literally, it's like hell. And then when the heater doesn't heat up, you know, you gotta find some other way to heat this food up, or you eat it cold, and then it comes to a point where you've just lost all self-control. Like, all right, I'm just gonna eat the snacks, and I'm not gonna eat this nasty thing that looks like dog food in a bag. But having a hot meal really does mean a lot. So yeah, people can be jealous about that, because honestly on the ship, you're gonna have a meal 3 times a day. I've never heard of anyone on the ship actually eating an MRE. So that is one beauty of being on a ship. Next is we have our own racks. You get to bring your own blankets, your own pillow. You go to the same place every night. You didn't dig anything. You didn't set up a tent. You're not exposed to the elements, even though, yes, depending on which area you're at and what kind of ship you're on, depends on how hot or how cold it may get. So understand that just because you're on a ship doesn't mean it's like a luxury hotel. This next one is the fact that we don't get shot at, okay? Understandable. Current time of the making of this video, There's not any naval warfare going on as far as like ships worrying about getting any torpedoes or anything shot at them, whatever. It's just not in the realm of right now, okay? So I understand that. But I like to bring back to this point, if any of you guys have looked at history, World War II, World War I, the very real threat of being in the Navy and being hit by something while you were on the ship was very common, or actually more common than what you may think. I'm not trying to delegitimize what other people have gone through in OIF, OEF, and I mention that almost every time I bring up something like this. I'm just saying that is one reason why people don't like us, because they think that we're not really part of the military because we're not doing the running, gunning, and stuff like that. But if there was a real conflict to happen, another superpower or some other big naval force, you can definitely understand that you could anticipate that. So let's debunk a couple of these things. People don't understand when you're on a ship how tight that is. You're talking about even a carrier can seem very small if you're on that ship long enough. It's 3 football fields long, but trust me, and you can't go to all the places, but your routine will be ingrained, and eventually you have a work schedule that you have to do day in and day out. Those tight spaces will seem very tight after a little bit of time. So you'll need to find ways to kind of break that monotony if you can, because you're gonna have long work days. I mean, long work days, people think that we're just floating around like I said, but you have maintenance, you have other operations going on. You have to upkeep everything for that ship. It's a floating city or a floating little community where the guy that is doing this job could be doing another job to help you with this. That's how the Navy's always been. Next are small areas to sleep in. So yes, you in a combat zone, as traditional with Marines and Army and stuff like that, you are not going to be enclosed tight, right? You're gonna have your sleeping gear, your whoopee and all that kind of stuff. But when you're in the Navy, you got that warm rack, but you're also in a very tight space. If you guys haven't seen those spaces, you can check it out right there. They're very tiny, and if you've been on a ship, you'll know right down below. Like I said before, long hours. So long hours on a flight deck could be God knows how long. It depends on your job and how your work schedule is set up and what your actual tasks are for that day, and depending on what's required of you. So that is just a huge variable. I know a lot of people are going to ask that, but on a ship, they're going to keep you busy. You're not going to have just a bunch of downtime sitting around doing nothing. If you want to see what that's like, go watch the show Carrier. I've made a video about that. You can look up that video. I'll put up a card right there that you can go watch it, where it links to every episode. And yes, they go in the day in, day out life of being on an aircraft carrier, so you can get the gist of you're not just sitting around and floating around on the water. Last thing I want to say is, people don't think about this, but general quarter drills, as a lot of people don't understand that just like in a Army or Marine Corps fashion, they train for their types of firefights and type of combat they may face. The Navy ships have to do the same thing. They have to meet certain requirements. They have to understand how to do X job. To explain again, this is all in good fun, just to kind of go over things that people think about the Navy, why they judge us and say we don't have it that bad or whatever else, and kind of give that dynamic, and also some of the things that aren't as pleasurable about it. But honestly, every branch has its ups, has its downs. It just depends which experience you want at the end of the day. So keep that in mind as you're picking your job, your branch, whatever it is. It's honestly on you and what you want to experience. But as always, if you do have questions, you can hit me up on Instagram, Snapchat, or down in the comments below. I love you guys. I'll see you next time.